Now we are going live. Now, hello everyone and welcome to our podcast. And within the next couple of weeks, we shall have some tax-free government money in the range of about $1,200. Yes!
And this isn't like hearsay, like this is an actual thing.
This is what was passed by the state and the House and signed into law by Trump on Friday.
Okay. And what does that all entail?
Okay, so if you make less than $77,000 a year, you will get a check. Or, in you and my case, because I believe we both e-filed our taxes, a direct deposit of $1,200 into your bank account.
Okay.
Now, because of the way they're setting it up, which makes it complicated, but they have to do it this way because government's complicated, you'll report it on your taxes at the end of the year, but you also get to claim a tax credit for it, which erases it from your taxes.
What does that mean?
Essentially, they have it set up because you have to report everything you make on your taxes. You just say, yes, you got a stimulus check and how much it was, and then that's how much you get tax credit for it. Essentially, it's a complicated way of saying we don't have to pay taxes on this money.
Okay.
And it's got people freaking out thinking we're getting screwed with it, but it's really not. Granted, the whole package is not the greatest. I mean, they sent a bunch of money to an arts thing that then turned around and fired a bunch of people and shut down. Because apparently only the big business can screw people. Apparently nonprofits don't screw people over when they get huge influx of tax-free government money.
Nonprofits, as someone who works at a church, yes, they fucking do.
Yep. Nonprofits are no less corrupt than for-profit corporations. Actually, they could be a little bit more since they do tend to pay people a lot in order so that they make money, but then essentially the place doesn't make any money, but they love to get more and more donations so they can just put more money in the leader's salary, or let's just say that. Which is part of the reason why I hate that Autism Speaks charity, but this isn't a charity thing. But I've heard some people saying how if you haven't seen on some of these places, I've seen a lot of people saying how $1,200 isn't a lot of money, and oh no, that's not even going to put a dent in what I have to pay this month, blah, 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 blah. It's like, you know what? If that's not almost a month's income for you, where the hell did you send all your money?
So, and I will say this for anyone who knows, I'm not going to say where I work, but the nonprofit that I help, and nonprofit is a very broad term that can be like a church, it can be like a place that gives food to people, shit like that. None of them have been afraid to lay people off. So at the end of the day, like, they say that they help out people, they don't even help out their own staff.
Yeah, most nonprofits are scams, so someone can just make a bunch of tax-free money.
They're perfectly okay with like being like, okay, well, we're gonna lay you off, but you can't really say that it's under unemployment because we technically didn't lay you off. We're just not going to be open for the next who knows how long.
Yeah, which I never understood since, okay, you pay unemployment insurance, right, if you own a company. The company doesn't have to pay for you to be on unemployment.
Right, I don't think that anyone at my workplace is able to get unemployment.
It never makes any sense why workplaces try to get in the way of you getting unemployment, because the workplace doesn't pay your unemployment.
Right.
When I owned a company, because here's the thing, if your workplace was paying you for your unemployment if they had to lay you off, then where's the money coming from if you go out of business?
Like, to me, like I was told by my one workplace, hey, why don't you go on unemployment? And I was like, okay, bet. And then they were like, okay, we'll send you all the information, the codes and stuff like that you'll need for it, and have not heard from them since. So I was like, why did you tell me that I could file for unemployment when you ain't going to give me any of the necessary information that I need to file for unemployment?
Yeah.
I'm like, why did you get my hopes up when you know that I can't file if I don't have any of the necessary information?
Yeah, no, I have never understood with the way it works why companies try to get in the way of you filing for unemployment. But here's the kicker. I take home about $448 a week, right?
Okay.
Now, my gross income is $600 a week, so I would get a check of roughly $300 a week from the government if I was on unemployment. But for the next 4 months, if I would get laid off because of COVID-19, I would get an additional $600 on that check.
How?
Because the government extended everyone an extra $600 a week on their unemployment checks as part of the stimulus,
I
in
didn't know
addition to
that.
what they have. Yep. So pretty much, I would, if my work laid me off right now, which I don't think they're going to, and I went and filed for unemployment, I'd get about $300 a week before taxes, and then I would get an additional $600 from the government because of the stimulus for the next 4 months, which would mean that I would actually make more money on unemployment right now than I do employed.
See, and I am confused by that because the BF has not received a cent of unemployment money so far, so I don't know
Has he
how
filed?
he has. He did it like almost a week ago or something like that.
It can take up to 2 weeks for that to get all sorted out.
So then would he get the extra money or would he just get
He
the
should.
original amount?
He should. According to the way I was reading, he should. It said there was an extra $600 going to people on unemployment per week.
Hmm.
So essentially, people are going to get a nice extra amount of money in their unemployment checks. And a lot of people are actually going to make more for the next 4 months on unemployment than they did at the regular jobs. Plus, they're going to get the $1,200 stimulus check.
So where is this extra 600 coming from?
The federal government.
But like where did they get it?
They sold bonds, borrowed money,
Hmm.
probably printed a little more. Eh. But the basis is people are acting like it's not enough. And yeah, I understand all this stuff going corporations and whatnot. Granted, those corporate things are loans and whatnot. And
I was just charged a couple days ago from my apartment complex. I'm very confused on people saying that it's like a wide known thing where they can't evict you, but yet money has already been taken out for next month's rent.
wait, are they trying to evict you?
No, I'm just saying that um if I don't think it's a wide known thing that like people are saying that none of these places ha- um have the are legally able to be like, okay, if you don't pay this month, then we are able to evict you. But if that were the case, if they legally weren't able to do that, then why has everyone's rent already been taken out of their accounts? Like, why has the money already been taken out?
Well, if the money's already been taken out of their accounts, then it's been paid.
But the month hasn't even started, so that leads me to be under the
Also,
impression.
Governor Whitmer, under her orders, has well, she's paused all evictions and foreclosures in the state of Michigan.
Right, but I mean, the places are still charging you for next month regardless, so I'm very confused how this
Do you
deals
have
with.
it on auto withdrawal?
No,
Do you have it on recurring payments on a debit card?
no,
Then how did it already come out of your account?
I don't know.
Well, then it must be on recurring payments, on automatic withdrawal, or on a debit card on automatic payments. That's why I don't set up automatic payments.
I I paid a little bit ahead of time.
That's probably what happened, because you went ahead and paid it already.
So you're saying if someone didn't hypothetically pay it, then they wouldn't be obligated to have to pay it?
Oh, they're still obligated to have to pay it. They just can't evict them at this potential time. But I guarantee you, as soon as that stuff drops, there's going to be some eviction stuff, and then there's going to be some stuff where the government says, "No, you're just out that money," and some insurance stuff. It's going to. Let's just say we're in a recession now because of this, and it could turn into a depression, and then that a bunch of economical legalese starts happening.
I thought that a place legally needs to give you 30 days before you're evicted.
If you're on a month-to-month lease, it's 30 days to pay or quit. Okay. If you are on a annual or biannual lease, then in order to evict you, you will have to have not paid your rent and all that stuff, and just getting the process started can take up to 90 days. It can take 6 months to evict somebody.
6 months?
Well, you have to give them the notice to pay or quit. Then you have to give them so long to take care of that notice, that 30-day notice or whatnot. Then you have to take them to court. You gotta wait on a court date. Depends how packed up the courts are. Then you have to get the judge to be on your side. But then the person getting evicted can appeal. There's a reason that landlords hate squatters. Evicting someone can be a real pain in the ass.
But if they're not getting paid, then why wouldn't they?
Yeah, that's the point, though. It's not so easy to just evict somebody.
So you're saying that it's better for them not to evict them, hypothetically.
Hypothetically speaking, it'd be better for them to not evict people and just weather this crisis than start collecting rent again at the end of the situation. Because the sheer mass of evictions that you would have to do at the end of this, it just wouldn't be financially feasible. You'd spend more money trying to evict the people than you'd get out of them in the back to rent. But
So this stimulus check is supposed to help for those that are laid off by helping with rent, food, yada yada.
essentially, this is supposed to help us get by while we are out of money and laid off or not working as much. Combined with people who get to claim the unemployment checks, it's actually quite a nifty little thing for the next few months. And actually, the Speaker Pelosi said more checks may be on their way depending on how stagnant the economy stays. If it doesn't go up, we might all be getting another check. Although some people out there are saying that $1,200 isn't a big enough check, even though I take home $1,700 and some odd cents a month, so I'm about $600 shy of them giving me an extra month's of income of my take home without any taxes taken out.
I don't even think I get $1,200 a month regularly.
Yeah. And some of these people, though, that are talking like this, you can tell that they are 70,000. They're up in the upper echelon, getting close to not even getting a check. Like, these people need to learn how to manage the money a little better.
See, that's what I never understood about like the people that are in my budgeting group. They're like, "Oh, between me and my spouse, like we make about 100K, but we're in this much debt." And I'm like, just because you make more money doesn't mean that you need to spend more money.
Exactly. If you make $100,000 a year between the two and have only, let's say, one or two kids, there's no reason you shouldn't be able to pay your mortgage, pay your car payments, and pay off all your debt.
Like that's more than enough money to do basically whatever the hell you want. Go on vacations, have nice cars, whatever. But these people are 20 to 30 grand in debt, and I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
Wait, okay. So 100,000, if I'm doing my math right, that's around $8,500 a month before taxes that they're taking home. And if you take, let's say, 25%, which is what I always take out, because between my dad and me, that's what we usually get. So you're looking at more about 75,000 take home a year. Divide that by 12. You're still looking at almost 6 grand a month take home. What the hell are you doing with that money?
Exactly.
Even with
Like,
$1,000 a month on your $1,000, $1,200, even if you're spending 2 grand a month on rent, and $1,000 a month in your car payments, you still have $3,000 for food, entertainment, which includes cable, gas, lights, and all that stuff. If you're spending $3,000 a month on that, plus some, you got a problem. And
I mean,
when I say grand for car payments, I'm assuming both people have a car payment of the average $500 a month.
right. And that's all assuming that, you know, you a $500 car payment, that's assuming you're having like a brand new car that you're still having to pay on. Like most
Yeah,
people don't have to make that high of a car payment. Maybe they'd have like a decently high insurance payment, but I don't think it'd be $500.
it depends on how many vehicles you have. For the 4 vehicles on my policy, we have 5 vehicles. It's about $325 a month for 5 vehicles on my auto insurance. So auto insurance ain't that bad. But yeah, here's the thing: if you're making 100K a year, there's no reason you should be in debt. 50, 60K, I can see some debt, because there is, little bit, after taxes, things can get expensive, especially since people who make that much usually have families, and a house for a family living on rent ain't exactly cheap anymore.
Yeah.
You know, but if you're making that much money, you can save up money and put down a down payment on a house and buy a house, and you're paying $500 a month for $100,000 home for the next 30 years with plenty of room for the family. So I would wonder, what's all this with all this? Now, I understand some people who are hurting. For instance, my dad's girlfriend isn't working right now because schools are shut down. Okay. And there are many people who are out of work and who can't file for unemployment and have filed for unemployment. Now, here's the thing: there's those people, which I understand their plight, but to a lot of those people, this check coming is dang near what they make in a month. It's not
Right.
a
The only people that are screwed are people like me who can't file.
Yeah, but just because you can't file, but you do have at least getting the check. But the real people who are really, really screwed, or at least seem to be screwed, are these people who are drowning in debt, make $100,000 a year, lost their jobs because they weren't essential. Hate to say it, non-essential work pays a whole hell of a lot better than essential work. It's stupid, but it's true.
Yeah.
So, those people who should have had savings, which is why you don't get all your money on unemployment. It's expected you had some savings, so the unemployment is supposed to supplement your savings where you look for work, not replace it
Yeah.
wholeheartedly.
Like, I just don't. A lot of people, from what I've been seeing, at least around my county and stuff, they're like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm gonna pay for things. I only have like $100 in my bank account. I need groceries. I need this. I need this. So, like, I've seen a lot of those stories, and I'm like, um, no one, like, you should have a emergency slash sinking fund. I don't remember the one dude who said that, but
Dave Ramsey?
yeah. And I'm like, the fact that you had so little money to prepare for something like this, like, obviously no one expected this virus to be,
Oh, yeah.
but at the same time, like, the fact that you're living paycheck to paycheck, like, what if something like this happened? Like,
Uh,
obviously it did, so you just fucked yourself over.
I mean, my situation, I've been working to get myself out of my particular financial hole. And actually this money might be able to help that. But what I'm really going to do is I'm going to use some of it to pay a couple small medical bills I incurred last month and get my plates on my car. And the rest is becoming an emergency fund going straight in my savings account. So I'll put about $800 into my savings account when the check gets here. Because on Tuesday the 7th, I go back to work. My work gave us a choice on a shelter in place thing. and I had enough vacation time, so I only missed 2.5 days of work, and April's 5 paychecks. So I get some tax-free government money, and I only missed 2.5 days of the extra money that I would have been making for April. So not too bad for me.
No, it's not too bad. It'll
Now,
be interesting how they're able to mail out or direct deposit all of this money.
the same way they do the taxes, they have the IRS handling it.
Hmm.
The IRS is the ones who will give you your money.
So we don't have to do anything extra.
We don't have to do a damn thing. They're just going to identify who qualifies and send them some money.
Huh. This all seems too good to be true.
It's an emergency situation.
Right.
But remember, some people still think they're getting screwed. And I do see, I don't really see this as the best thing in the world. Here's the way we're getting screwed, Laura. The amount of extra national debt we will have to incur is not going to be pretty. But you see, the reason that you say, you want to know the also downside is? We're getting this because of what's going on everywhere. It's an attempt to help keep the public order. And the government, and like I said, the government said more stimulus money might be coming down the pipeline later. They're already apparently working on more relief legislation. Try to get this thing handled. Even though, I've done the math and whatnot. And like we can all agree, anyone who makes, let's say, $75,000 to $100,000 a year shouldn't have any debt. Unless they're just coming out of school, going into that job, and then the only debt they should have is the student loans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, in that scenario, those people wouldn't get anything. But if you take everyone below that threshold, you just give them what would be equal to 1 month's pay, shut down the whole country. I mean, they're borrowing all this money to do the $2.2 trillion stimulus, right? So, you freeze the market so no one can trade on the stock market so it stops crashing. You give everyone under, let's say, this cutoff point where you start to lose money per $100 over that you make or whatnot. You take that, you make that the cutoff limit. Everyone below that, you just give them 1 month's paid salary, what they would make in a month typically. So they could do that by their taxes. Take how much they made in a year, divide it by 12, and everyone under this bracket gets a check for whatever amount that goes to that person. You can put in, they have advanced computers that can do it pretty quick to do the math. Now, after doing that, what you do is you shut down the whole country. Grocery stores, factories, everything just stops for a month. The only people that go out are emergency services, healthcare workers. And for food and water and supplies, you mobilize the National Guard and the U.S. military in conjunction with FEMA, to give everyone food and water if they need it, to make sure everyone has supplies to survive the month. Then at the end of the month, the pandemic has burned itself out, and we can all get back to business as usual. Problem solved, at least in this country.
See, and I still feel like we're going to be dealing with this for a little bit.
Oh, the doctors do believe that it will come back even worse in the fall.
In the fall?
Yes, we will probably get back to business as normal during the summer months, but as the fall creeps in, the corona will return, because they do believe that it will go down south and then come back in the fall. So use the summer to save up money, do extra gig work as everyone's not so unhealthy, and prepare for the next round of this shit.
I planned my vacation in the fall, though.
Wear a hazmat suit. Travel will still be super cheap.
That's not funny, okay?
Yes, it is. Especially if you have a morbid sense of humor.
I'm sorry, but if we deal with another of this thing, people are already starting to, like, get cabin fever. I think we're gonna have the government overthrown by that point.
Did someone say overthrow the government?
You know what I meant.
No, no, I have to make a sound effect with this. There we go. Notice, audience, that was not me actually loading it. I was just using my 9mm to make a sound effect.
People, like, this shutdown, for most people, has not even lasted 2 weeks, and we're all basically have lost our minds.
Okay, I will tell you this personally. Once I had nowhere to go for a week because my work was shut down because we didn't have any work to do. So I was home for a whole week. I didn't really leave the house, but I could leave the house. Now I chose to stay home from work. The fact that I can't leave the house to just go do something is driving me up the wall. I should have just kept going to work to keep myself entertained. But I thought, stay home, don't get exposed, all that shit. Bright idea, right? I thought I was immune to cabin fever. Guess not.
See, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm an introvert. Like, this is fine. I'm, like, used to it. And I'm like, the thing is, I'm realizing that, before, I will admit, social life wise, I didn't do a whole lot. I went to work. That was my social life.
And that's probably why people like you and me are not sick.
But I also think to an extent that I think it's a mental thing. I think when you take away the idea that people have the choice to leave, that's when they start to go crazy.
Yeah, no, it's the fact that I don't have a choice. When I have a choice, I just stay home because I want to. And I thought this would just be, when I decided to stay home from work and all that stuff, I thought this would just be a simple, hey, I'm an introvert, I don't like people, I'll just stay home and relax for 2 weeks, play my video games, whatnot. But, my God, the fact that I'm not able to leave my house to go do random stuff is kind of, kind of perplexing. I mean, most weekends I at least, leave the house at least one day, go get food or stuff, and I think I'm realizing that I go out to the drive-through to get food just to leave the house normally. But I'm not even doing that right now, even though drive-throughs are open.
I'm gonna have to put you on speaker because my phone's about to die.
Oh, great. Your phone is about to die.
Well, no, I have it on the charger. It's just I won't be wearing headphones.
Ah.
But, okay, I don't know if anyone can relate, but as an introvert, we thrive being
alone.
I don't know if there is such a thing as a very extroverted introvert, but I'm one of those people that if I want to go do something, I'm not gonna wait until someone else agrees to do it. If I want to watch a movie, if I want to go to the mall, I'm just gonna go by myself. But I don't have that choice anymore because of this virus. I can't go out to eat and get whatever I want. I can't go to the mall. I can't even watch a movie, for God's sake.
Yeah, that's the annoying part, It used to be, I enjoy going to movies, but I like going to movies on my own. Oh, wait, now I can't. The virus says I have to stay home.
Right, all of the fun shit that I would do as an introvert by myself, I can't do. Basically, you can go get groceries, you can go to work, and you can go home. That's about all you can do. And what I'm afraid of is with this virus, the way that it is, and it's seemingly not letting up anytime soon, I'm almost afraid of us getting to the point of cabin fever where people are literally going to the grocery store for a social, out.
They're already doing that.
Right. for them literally to get out of the house.
And it
Like
makes
my
things
job,
worse.
right. And I mean, like, obviously, me and you are essential personnel, so we can't really not go to work.
Well, my
Um,
work gave me a choice this time, but I don't think the next time, if they extend it, we'll get another choice.
right. And mine, like, we're just considered essential personnel just because, like, there's so many people hoarding shit that we can't really not work extra, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So it's just to the point where I'm like, see, when you have people who are so used to like not doing anything, you're not giving them the choice to do that. Everyone basically has cabin fever, even the ones who don't do a whole lot.
Yeah, I normally like staying at home. Not now.
No, I absolutely hate it. I'm bored as shit at the moment. Like the only people that I can imagine who are making a shit ton of money out of this is like Netflix, Hulu, and all that other bullshit.
I guarantee you streamers are getting a lot of views right now on Twitch and that sort of thing.
I would think so too. YouTube, I don't see more people making videos, strangely enough.
Well, let's see here. Okay, I have 181 games on my computer. And somehow I'm still bored because I can't leave the house.
I've been on TikTok several hours a day because of how bored I am.
Though I can't really complain that much because my work did let me choose whether or not I worked. And I chose to use vacation time and stay home. I was originally going to work, but then someone else said, well, you have that asthma, you should probably stay home. Like, okay, you know, good excuse to have a little staycation, get away from all the stress and crap at work.
I mean, that's true. But I think of it like with also the mental thing. I don't think, from what I've seen as just an observer of other people having to deal with this, I'm seeing a lot of students be like, "Oh, well, I I'm going stir crazy because I think I thrive being on a schedule, which they no longer are on."
You can put yourself on a schedule. Many people put themselves on a schedule.
Well, right, but I'm saying like they're having to adjust to the fact that they're not on a schedule. And I think it was the fact that they were like forced to be on a schedule that helped them through like, what they were doing.
Oh,
Whereas like.
just remember though, the medical people say this could go on for months.
Uh,
I may have to risk it and go down and get a milkshake or something at one of the ice cream shops if they're still open, just to leave for a few minutes.
like I sometimes I'll just walk out of my balcony to get some fresh air or stuff like that. I'm like, I absolutely hate this. And plus, like, the weather in Michigan has not been that shitty, which also sucks.
Yeah, it's except for the rain here in Indiana last couple of days and the wind today. During this whole thing, the weather's actually been not that bad. We had a thunderstorm on I think Thursday or Friday, but I mean Wednesday I had my windows open. It's like it's nice out, and we're all stuck in our homes. Well, they say you can walk outside, but you have to stay 6 feet from other people. I'm like, yeah, does someone have a double yardstick that I can actually do that? Because I guarantee you those X's on the floor in the grocery store are not 6 feet apart. I know how long a yardstick is. They did not put two yardsticks end to end to make those little spots for the social
And
distancing.
they say that for, like, grocery stores, too, and I'm like, um, you're lucky if you're able to be, like, a foot away from someone in a grocery store.
Oh yeah, you are. And like my work, it's a factory where we work on these lines right next to people. They try to do the social distancing 6 feet away right now. But on a couple of these lines, You ain't no sick. You ain't even 3 feet from the other person. So it's like, how are you gonna run that? What are you gonna do? Put up a piece of plexiglass? Which you can't because it would interfere with production. And apparently, some places they're helping one customer, then they're sanitizing everything, then they help the next customer. So you know those long lines you used to have to wait in? Now that long line, because of social distancing, is all the way to the back of the store, and every checkout time is going to take 20 minutes per customer to check out. Because they have to come around and wipe everything down and then bring the next person forward.
See, I've been lucky to not have to deal with like doing checkouts because my job's more like stocking and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but um it's just very, I don't know. And then like the whole news saying, "Oh, well 90,000 people have gotten it and in Michigan like look at all these people that died," and it's just causing like more like people freaking out, but then you got people that don't give a shit and still go out and I'm like this is just one giant
And then you have
mess.
the assholes who test positive and then they go and purposely try to spread it, saying, I'm acting like a vaccine. Except that's not how vaccines work. Vaccines use either antibodies from another person, that blood type serums where they find the antibodies of an immune person and they use that to replicate to make a vaccine. That's what they ended up doing with Ebola. If you remember, they were able to use the survivors' blood here in the United States to help cure those who had it. And the other way is they take some of the virus, they deactivate it or kill it, but more it's deactivated because viruses are not life. They are not alive. That's one thing people don't understand. Viruses are not alive. So they deactivate the virus and then they put it in your system and your system sees it. And because it's not active, the virus doesn't do anything, but your immune system still creates the antibodies. So you get some dead virus. Your immune system reacts to it like it would the regular virus. You might get a little sick, you might not. And then afterwards, you're immune. Here's the difference though. You send them in with a live virus, well, you'll either be immune or you'll die. Granted, the first type of inoculation for smallpox was George Washington when he had a smallpox infestation in one of his camps. In order to inoculate people, he took some of the pus from the smallpox and put it inside a little bit of it inside cuts with some of his men, so they would get slightly exposed, but not enough to actually infect them, so that their body would immunize itself. It wasn't all that effective or all that great of an idea, since a lot of the people still ended up just getting it because you just put pus from smallpox blisters in cuts, but it, it was the original form of vaccination. Though there was a reason we don't do it that way anymore. Very good reason.
I am like so confused by those stories of people who are like test positive, but like I guess there's this one article that I saw of like this one person tested positive, or like I don't know if they tested positive or whatever, but they like coughed on all the food in a grocery store, and I'm like, what the hell is wrong with
They got
you?
arrested. They ruined $35,000 worth of produce.
And I'm like, why did you do that? Like, what was the point?
That influencer who got corona after licking a public toilet seat. I mean,
I heard about that.
I
People
I hope
want
he
to get
gets.
famous on TikTok so badly that they do the stupidest shit. You could die from something like that.
You know, and there's a lot worse things you can get from a public toilet seat by licking it than corona. I almost said Ebola, but you might actually get that from that. I don't know. You might get dysentery or something like that. Here's the thing. While I do hope the man recovers, because I never wish death on anyone, I also do not have any sympathy for him.
Oh, I don't have sympathy for
Old
them at
man
all. It like
Darwin
the
is
Tide
acting.
Pods. As much as I hate to say it with the whole Tide Pods thing, I think people are just weeding out the what's that phrase?
It's a natural selection of the stupid. We're
Yeah,
weeding out
I
the
think
idiots.
that that was a needed thing.
Here's the thing. I used to say, let's take the. We don't need to get all the idiots. We just need to take the warning labels off everything, let the problem sort itself out. But here's the thing. I figured out the idiots don't read warning labels. They just sue the gasoline company after a warning on it said, do not have near open flame, and they pour flame on it, it explodes, and because they didn't have a metal fire arrestor in it, which actually can create more static and cause a fire even more, that they sued that company. And when that after that company went out of business, now all the gas cans have these plastic fire arrestors in them. Oh, but those fire arrestors make the gas pump shut off because it senses that the gas tank is full.
I don't understand why whoever sued McDonald's for the whole like them getting coffee on their lap and it was hot, how the hell they won that court
Oh, they
case.
won because a lot of people have been burned by McDonald's, and McDonald's does keep his coffee way too hot. No need for it to be that hot. And she just wanted a little help with the medical bill. She admitted that it was her fault, that she should not have been wearing those pants or been doing that how she did, the old lady. But they said, "Oh, we'll give you $400." So instead of just refusing, they gave her an insultingly little amount of money. So because she was so insulted by their reaction, she sued them.
So
So
they hypothetically could have avoided it.
yeah, but here's the thing: McDonald's could just serve their coffee at a normal temperature. Coffee does
Hmm.
not mean so bad that you have to wait 10 minutes in order to drink it. We all know how hot the hot stuff is at McDonald's. You have to wait 10 minutes to drink it or it has ice in it. It doesn't even taste that good. I still will never understand people who go to McDonald's for McDonald's coffee.
See, I think it's been more popular because they have like their own coffee brand now. Like I've seen it in grocery stores.
No, all they did was they got the coffee supplier to wrap some of the coffee in McDonald's coffee packaging and sell it in the store. Same thing Riley's did with the fries and Arby's. Notice, and Bob Evans sells their stuff in the frozen section now. People don't want to go to the restaurant, they want to go and eat their stuff at home, so the restaurants now sell their stuff in stores.
I think it's a smart move still.
Oh yeah, Red Robin started doing it a long time ago. It's not a bad idea.
Like Cracker Barrel, they have their own cheese and crackers, I think.
Cracker Barrel, you can buy the makings of anything in the back in the store there. But yeah, they have all that going on. But I do believe that we are seeing at the same time all this thing, Old Man Darwin's showing up and weeding out all the idiots. Although I wish these idiots would actually learn and stop screwing up, because if they would just all stay the fuck home, this would be done in a month and I could get back to life as normal. It's getting annoying.
Yeah, I still
This
see
whole
a decent
situation
amount of
is a
people
nuisance.
out. Well, I see less people out. Like, granted, the only places I'm really going to is work, which, like I said, is the grocery store. And obviously that's going to have a lot of people. But I guess I don't see too many people on the roads except for truck drivers. That makes sense
Well, I
too.
live on
There's
a
definitely a lot less traffic than there was before.
yeah, there's a little less traffic than there was before, but I do live on a main road that leads to the hospital, so you know, a lot of essential workers go up and down my road every day. But even in the
Yeah.
middle of the night, there are still way too many people coming up and down this road. There's
And
still way too many
also,
people out.
like, the grocery stores are a lot busier now that they cut off, like, a decent amount of the hours. Like, Meijer and Walmart are no longer overnight.
Uh huh. And nothing's overnight anymore. Although in some states they've
Right.
actually made it illegal to buy any non-essential items in the store. You have to go there
Wait,
only for essential items in a couple of states. Which
wait, for real?
they had to, because people were going to go hang out in the electronics department and just browse to get out of the house.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
People were hanging out in the Walmart, so they had to say, You can only be out for you can only be in this Walmart so long, only so many people in the store at a time, and you have to buy essential items only. They cannot sell you any non-essential item.
But then how do they track that? Because people go through self checkout.
Or do you want to use a self-checkout right now?
I use self checkout, yeah.
Okay, if you're your average person who's so afraid of this virus it's crippling them. Now granted, there is a difference between crippled by the virus and being concerned enough to stay home so this all gets over quicker so you can get back to life. And then the idiot who says, I'm not worried, so I'm just going to go do everything normal and get a bunch of people sick.
Well,
There's being.
like my job, I have to be at the grocery store anyways, so
Mhm.
I use the self checkout then
Oh,
when
yeah,
I'm
but
stuck being there anyways.
if you're the
Is what I'm
paranoid
saying.
guy, you're not going to use self checkout because you don't know how many other people just use self checkout. You're going to go over to where the plexiglass thing is, where they're all using gloves, and where, all that stuff. Shit, some people are actually, when they get home, their hand sanitize their hands and using cleaning wipes to wipe down the outside of everything they got from the store.
I have been told a couple stores are starting to do the plexiglass thing. Like my friend who works at Kroger said they were thinking of doing that. I haven't seen any in Meyer, and I've been in a decent amount of different Meyer with my job. I don't think they've done that yet.
No, but I think they're thinking about it. Granted, my mom does Instacart, and she has said that less people have been in the stores. Now, actually, I went and got an Instacart. I actually signed up for it too. So now, if I decide to go out and make some extra cash, I can. So, like, once all this non essential travel is lifted and I start going back to work here, because I can't take off work again if I can help it. So, next time, if they do more, they're still going to call themselves essential. So, I'm just going to have to work and, bite the bullet and go to work. So I'll just end up, since I'm going out anyways, I might as well go make some extra money. So I'll probably end up doing the Instacart thing to make some extra money doing it that way to make up for some stuff and whatnot, get stuff
I've
saved
seen a
up.
lot more like ship shoppers when I've been at work.
Yeah, a lot of people are using Shipt and Instacart in order to avoid going to the store.
Which, like, once you pay the fee, is really not that big of a difference.
No. So what I'm saying is, once we can get back out, I'm going to be doing Instacart on the weekends, and I'm going to be going to work every day I can. I'm going to be saving up as much money and paying down as many debts as I can, because next time when this gets worse, I want to be ready. And to our listeners, I am not who will hear me cough. I am not sick. I have gas problems. I end up gagging
See,
and coughing.
that's the thing that, like, is the issue with me. Like, I had, and it could be a numerous amount of factors. When I was at work a couple days ago, I did have a little bit of, like, a runny nose or, like, shit like that. Well, I like ran to the bathroom every single time because obviously everyone's going to give you the death glare and think you have corona if you got a runny nose. Like people do not realize that, shit like that happens to everyone
Runny
because
nose
the
isn't part of
symptoms are
this one,
so damn
actually.
common.
Runny nose
Or
actually
what
isn't
did you
part of
say?
this one. Runny nose is not actually part of this. It's a dry cough, shortness of breath, and fever.
Respiratory problems?
Yeah. And apparently, even if you're
Oh.
asymptomatic, your lungs are still being damaged by the disease.
What
So
does
you
that
could
mean?
still, essentially, if you catch it, even if you don't show any symptoms, you could still have lung issues later on in life.
Hmm.
So you still don't want to catch it.
Well,
Which is
yeah.
why, since 80% of people are apparently asymptomatic, we should be testing everybody. Get these tests available. Test everybody. Right now, in New York, yeah, they have everything locked down. A lot of people would like to just go get tested just to be sure they don't have it. But they can't get tested unless they have been in contact with someone they know who has been confirmed. But that person couldn't get tested unless they had been in contact with someone who they had confirmed it with, or you've been hospitalized for similar symptoms. So you have to find someone and track it all the way back so you can say you've been in contact with them so you can get tested. Or in other states, they've done it to where they won't test you unless you've already been hospitalized and you're already about to go on a ventilator.
Right, like my one friend, she wants to get tested because she works in an Amazon facility that had 2 to 3 people that had confirmed cases of coronavirus,
She should
but
automatically
because
be
she
able to
didn't
get.
show symptoms, she wasn't able to get tested.
That's stupid. I mean, they just had the CDC. The Congress just made the CDC promise that the test will be free and that they will pay for
Right.
it. So the test is supposed to be
Wait, runny nose has nothing to do with it? Then what was I dealing with?
your allergies.
Can you get runny nose from too much exposure to being inside?
You can also get a dry nose that can be running and it's actually a bloody nose, but you can't. You just feel like it's running. I've also
I've
gotten
gotten a
runny.
bloody nose before.
I've also gotten runny noses just from coughing because I have because I'm gagging on like gas and stuff, and then I cough so much that my nose gets stuffed up. Because when you cough, when you have stuff like what I have, when I cough, it actually irritates my sinuses and they start to release a lot of mucus. Yes, I understand that's disgusting, but that's what happens. And then I get a runny nose or a stuffy nose and I have to blow.
See, I was very afraid that the past couple of days with me suffering from this runny nose, people would like think that I have corona, which is
Do
why
you
I
have
was
a
trying to
fever
hide
or a
myself.
cough?
But a cough and a fever is also very common. Well, maybe
Well,
not a
those are the
fever.
two first symptoms to look for.
Hmm.
If you have a cough, check for a fever. No fever, no virus. Simple as that.
I didn't check for a fever. I've been feeling hot in my apartment, though. We've been lowering the temperature in our place, but it still feels warm for some reason.
Do you feel like crap?
No.
Then you probably
Like,
don't have it.
so you know the two numbers that are on your thermostat, right?
Yes. Once
So the one number I set at like 58, 60. But then the big number is like 71, 72. So I'm not sure if our thermostat just don't work or what the issue
your
is.
thermostat might be broken. Or do you have it set on air conditioning or heat?
One second. All it shows is like the off and then the heat. It's on heat, but there's no like air conditioning setting, and then the smaller number with the little flame underneath is at 55, but the big number is at 72.
Maybe.
And it feels like it's 72 in this
Don't you live in
apartment.
an apartment complex?
What?
Don't you live in an apartment complex?
Yes.
Well, if everyone around you has a heating picked up, since apartments usually have very thin walls, you could be getting your apartment heated by the apartments around you. And the fact that everyone's in the building, at home. Lots of body heat.
I've explained that to her like 50 times already.
So then just because I set it at that temperature does not mean that it is that temperature.
If you want it that low, you're going to have to turn on the AC. Or if you don't have AC, you should have a window unit. Or open a window.
She doesn't listen to what I've explained it 50 times.
What?
Yay, we're hearing them argue on the podcast. But anyways, it looks like it's getting to the end of the podcast today, and we will see you guys next week. Hopefully this thing will clear more up by next week, but that doesn't look promising. Anyways,
Hopefully we hear more news on that stimulus check.
the White House says they want it in our mailboxes, well, in our accounts by the 6th.
That's pretty soon.
Yep. So, anyways, everyone, enjoy your government money if you get it. If you don't get any, well, then you should have plenty of savings. If you don't, that's your own stupidity. And, yeah, have a good one.